Hello, everybody. Oh, Pope, you're joining me on this one. You're on mute, so I'm just going to talk over you. Hey, everybody. Welcome to your daily fix with NFAOFC, which of course means not financial advice, of fucking course. It is February 15th, 16th for the rest of you on the other side of the world. We are going to talk about what we always talk about, the money flow, which is so important. It gives us a heads up on how the money is moving in the market and what we can anticipate. The market cap dominance, Bitcoin and ETH. And then we're going to catch up on our other ones that we generally talk about. Hey, everybody. Cosmos, which is Atom, Kasuma, Phantom, Casper, File, PYR. And then we're going to just, talk about doing your own research, a little DYOR, because you shouldn't trust us for everything. You shouldn't trust. Pope is knowledgeable. He doesn't know everything. So do your own research, as well as some of our mistakes. So, hey, buddy.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Long time no see.
What you talking about there?
That you may have made a mistake today?
Totally. I make mistakes all the time. Totally. Let's get into it. We're 2 minutes into the show. We are going to get into the money flow cycle, which is always the most important thing to be looking at every single trade, every time. So let's dig in. It's been interesting, to say the least. I really like how this cycle has been playing out. We've been talking about how we want this uptrend. We wanted a little more spread on that there. Ooh, we got a few. Oh yeah, that's when it was curving. The auto draw. We're still making healthy retracements, which we keep talking about. This is exactly what we want to see. Money coming up, profits being taken. Money coming in, profits being taken. We're getting to localized all-time highs. It has been a while since we can say we've been at $1.9 trillion in the market cap crypto. I remember when that was a goal for an all-time high. So we are, there are still tons of opportunity. Money is still flowing, but what have we noticed? What we've been talking about for 29 shows. It's moving in and out fast. And if you're trying to play the trading game where you're getting the percentages and getting out, it has to be a faster game. If you're riding longer term and just going and riding the ups and downs, you don't have to worry about this. If you're dollar cost averaging and riding it out, buy on red days. Kind of a no-brainer. You get a sale every time you buy, right? So market cap doing great. We got to critical greed, the top, even though we know it's market cap. We're not talking about a token, but we're consolidating. And we talk about that a lot. We want to come up, come back, consolidate, and then off to the races. We're good to go. This here is kind of a really ugly bullish wedge. I mean, I could make it look more that way. Or flag even, because it's rectangular. We need to break this high. We tried with that wick, spectacular. And it's probably going to take a bit. 1.9, we haven't been there. Let's be honest. This is on the 4 hour. So making me happy to see what the dominance is doing. As we always say, just watch it, especially if you're on the fast trades. This is what we've been waiting for. Speaking of healthy retracements, the one thing we always want to go down is our DOM. Now we've had healthy up. We'll probably see a little more. I don't think we're on our way down quite yet. We will probably see another injection. Could be wrong. I would like to be wrong. But just more of the probability. Man, those are terrible. That's probably why I tried to redraw that one. But exactly what we want. And we know when these dips happen, that's big money flowing into the altcoin cycle. And that's what we want. And this is why we want this to happen, and we're waiting for it. Keeps teasing us that we're coming for it. It looks like we're about to curl again, but probably not. Sadly. What is Bitcoin doing? Remember what we talked about yesterday? How it's probably going to consolidate along and try and hold this weekly support consolation box. And if it's going to break out in either direction, this is where we consolidated, went up, needed to break out, stay here. If not, the two things that are going to happen probably fast is we're going up and in to the next area of consolidation, or we're coming down to the last, which I said doubtful. Still a possibility, always, but I still think very doubtful. I think we consolidate here again, and then we're trying to do this. Oh yeah, I can't adjust a bit. We get the point. Somebody's going to hold me accountable somewhere. And we just go along here, and then we're fighting to get into the next 55s, 56 round number shit that we talk about that it has trouble dealing with. So again, Bitcoin doing exactly what we've been wanting it to do 29 shows.
That's some sort of record. Nice work.
We'll keep it trying. I mean, we were off. I can't remember how much now with ETH yesterday, but it wasn't
It's like
much.
$78 or something like that.
This was nice. This was a nice surprise. We said it was going to take a little longer to get into those high 28s to 3s, and we were going to have that pullback. And we've literally, if just go back, if you've been here since day one, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm actually, because I've also been saying it's ETH time, let's spend a little time on ETH. It's time to redo. We broke all those patterns. We have our micro bull indicator saying we're off. We're going to have retracements, which we want because it's healthy, and the consolidation, and then off again. Up, consolidation, up, retracement, consolidation. Look, it didn't break this consolidation. It tried. Now it's going to try and keep it in here. Let's look at it without any indicators. Let's zoom out on the weekly. It's an old enough token, let's be honest. Weekly rectangle. So we know we can either go above where we're trying to fight into and where the area of majority of price action is that we're trying to get into, or we can also go below. Where are we trying to break out of to get into the next area? I like going below, and the reason being is I kind of like to just see the lines in these areas to know where, once I've had that retest, to know we've broken out of this area, where are my next steps up? So that's my rationale to it. And we know it doesn't have to be perfect. You can change it to different exacts, but this seems to be good areas. And it makes sense, like we were talking, high 2s, 3s. Not only the round number with the psychology, just that's where it's been. We don't pull these numbers out of fantasy or the crystal ball. It's just kind of what's been happening. History tends to repeat itself. I'm going to go back through a couple weekly support resistance. Sorry, bear with me. So I'm not going to mark where the support and resistance is on a consolidation rectangle, because I know the top is resistance and the bottom is support. But I do want to know where the next ones are. Did it look like I just dropped a ton there? Oh no, they're just that close. Okay. Now that we're getting into some interesting stages of this market, I am going to do a little more than quick and dirty, but this makes sense to where we're doing. This area here, halfway in this rectangle, all that support there, sailed through it in these zones here. We have quick action through this zone. Makes sense to me. We're probably going to hopefully consolidate in here. Healthy ups, retracement, healthy ups, retracement. And then we're chasing this 3,000. This is on the weekly. With how things are going lately, this might happen a little quicker than we think.
So that must be a pretty large percentage in there from line to line.
I mean, it's ETH, so not as much. It's kind of like Bitcoin, right? Like 10 is huge, let's be honest. But we're seeing these kind of gains and other things in a lot smaller. And we typically know that ETH and Bitcoin move in those 2.5, 3.5 ishes on average. And then when it pumps, it jumps big time, which affects the whole market. All right, weekly. Let's jump down on the day. Sorry, did I answer your question?
Oh, probably. I've already moved on with you. Let's go.
Nice. All right, daily. So we now know the gold and all of that is on the weekly. We can see how this is lining up. Like, I mean, come on. We can see how much price action we get on the daily in this area now. That was rockets on the weekly. We talked about how we need to contest and retest this area. We broke out Thursday Pacific where we are, and here's our retest candle right now. If this candle can close outside of here, we should be looking to stay out. Would I be surprised if we had a little bit of pullback? Really? I mean, we'd probably pull back into this price area on the daily. Somewhere in here. Split the difference. That would be a reasonable retracement on the daily if it came down to that route. But I still think on the daily, we're hopefully gonna fight somewhere in here. Actually, hold on. Let's see if we can find. Yeah. So on the daily, we'll probably fight up to here, come over, come down, hopefully maybe up to there, come over, come up. Just based on support and resistance over here. And what goes up must come down. And money that is coming in, and if our dominance of ETH and our dominance of Bitcoin goes down, but the total market cap stays the same, we know it's going into the alts. So a lot of people have taken profits now. It makes sense that it's going to pull back, and we have support and resistance right in here. Not a bad shot. I'll take it. That's why I call it the hunt. So ETH has been doing exactly what we've been wanting it to do. This is just price action and consolidation. it even looks like that's our curve. Our critical greed indicator has fired. We know we have retracement after that or consolidation. Ups, downs, ups, downs. No panic, no chicken little if ETH retraces.
That's interesting. Those lines that you drew do look like the micro bull lines,
That'd be cool if it lines up. That's why I like
right?
leaving, because some of the stuff, when we leave them over time, it adds even that more confluence. Like we talk about keeping your trading journal is important because your brain will play tricks on you. That's why I like leaving my TA in. Because if you've gone to all the work to set up your TA and you're just starting, give it a little faith. Just because some stuff isn't, following right away, let it play out. Don't change it right away.
Because we don't know when it's going to happen. We know it's going to happen.
Right.
That makes sense.
And if you keep changing your TA to try to fit what's going on, that's not the point of it. And then you can learn from, okay, maybe that's where I went wrong or something like that. Like, don't worry about being right or wrong with the TA. Just try it, leave it, see how it goes. And none of us have a crystal ball. We know the market cap in a few hours can change everything. But if we're playing the longer game with these tools and strategies, we typically do a lot better. And we've been entering a few trades or calling a few things on the show that we're going to stick with and keep going with and show how they're going. So Atom or Cosmos was the last one added by somebody. I can't wait to find out. I think it was Targaryen. I'm not sure. And we marked it up.
Excuse me, sir. I believe that's Targaryen.
See, my bad.
Quan says he's been drawing lines too after you've done it. So it's passing on.
She, if we're going to do the correct of each other.
They,
them, there. Kusama, here we are. Our entry hit just earlier than we thought it was going to hit. And we've been doing literally what we've wanted to do and what we've just been talking about this whole show. You have not missed out of Kusama if you're not in it. I say this almost every other show. Just wait for a red candle day. We are still looking, if you just got in it now at today's price, at around a 30% target for the moment. I mean, if you've been following the show and got in there, you're damn close to it already. But there you are. And we know we're going to have these little steps. Look where this one is. Surprising anybody right now? Where do you think our next retracement level will probably be at once this candle takes off? And if it doesn't, where do you think the retracement level will be to? And that's why in the longer trades, when we're talking these longer cycles, we don't worry about these little steps. We took them on the way down as well. So if you're shorting, you wouldn't worry about these little pumps. Banging trade. And still not too late. Lots of percentage left. Oops. This has been following right along our brush lines. Steady ups, stopping at our support and resistance on either direction on our way up. We're over current price to our target entry. We're at 15.64%. We're shooting for 55. We know this is going to be probably the next hardest line to get to. We've had some serious ups. Would make sense if we don't have a lot of money injected and money starts to leave. This is going to come down. And it's probably going to come down to this price here. Look at how much down these have come. And if you want to get in, like we just said, lots of opportunity left to keep walking up. Just don't buy a green candle. Get a better price. Wait for a red one. And you don't have to worry about timing it perfectly Because if you're buying it for the longer haul, a little bit in here isn't making a difference when we're shooting up here. Let's be honest. Hope you're in it. That one's been fun. Not financial advice, fuck, of course. Cosmos. Targaryen. Pretty sure it was you. If you've been following this call that we all marked out. Beautiful. Current price today with all the pullbacks up and down, 8%. Less than a week. Ask me how my stock portfolio is doing. Right. Same thing as we just said before. Wait for a red candle day. Look for that support resistance that it's going to probably pull back to. Take your entry and then ride it out for a while. Because this is an old token. This gold line is a weekly trend line. We're only right now trying to get to here. We know getting to the weekly consolidation box, we're going to have heavy resistance at 18. Take our profit just shy of it, wait for the retest on top, and then put your profits back in. Heavy far off trend line means we're now off to the next area of consolidations. And you can see that's going up to its high. It's been around for ages. Is it going to get to its all-time high? I don't know. Probably not. But is it going to walk up all the way up these steps? Most likely in a bull run, absolutely. And these steps are huge. Can't wait to look back at this in another month. Fade. Speaking of looking back, I mean, I'm starting to really love Casper without really knowing much about the ecosystem. The call has been pretty much bang on, getting down to the weekly. We said short the fuck out of it here if you're new and haven't been watching. We haven't changed the TA on this token for weeks, and it's been fabulous. And we were just talking about how we wanted this belly of our micro bear and to get in somewhere around here. Now, nobody times the bottom perfect, but let's say you started to see how close our micro bear lines were getting. And we know we always talk about this belly. We know this has been coming down for a long time. And money's starting to come back in the market. So even if you didn't time this well, you just bought the top of this resistance here. To current price action today, 7.53%. And like I said, now is the time to start longing Casper. We shorted the fuck out of it here, like I said, almost every day for a week. Now we get to say, long it. Buy in on the next retracement. We'll probably get a bit because that's 8%. Probably be somewhere in here. And we start to take the steps up, just like we took the steps down. This has been, and the only reason we're actually talking about this token is because Amir, one of our mods, introduced this to me quite a while ago, and he runs a node for it and told us a bit about the technology. So we've been following it ever since and nailing it. The other day, we brought up Filecoin, Senate, and Vulcan Forge. Let's start at the top.
Pope, in this process of whatever coins you come by, we often recognize a bullish wedge. And if you happen to come, because I find myself relying on the micro bear, micro bull a lot, and I want to be able to start recognizing other things. Are you able to talk about if you see one and show us a bearish wedge at some point, if it's something that you recognize, or I don't know if you play the wedges often.
Oh yeah, I don't play them. You
How would you say that? Okay,
you
recognize it.
recognize them, right? They're there. But if they change, they're no longer there. And that's what I mean.
You're
Don't try to
Are you
force.
feeling existential today?
No, but like this here, for example, Vulcan Forge looks like a teacup and handle, kind of an inverse. Here's your handle. Here's our teacup, right? Or we can say here is our teacup, ignore this part, and then our handle's going to be in here, which typically then has a fall. But if this breaks this trend and it goes down here or something, we no longer have this one. And that's what I mean, don't be married to it. Don't try to make the TA fit. As soon as it breaks trend, it doesn't exist. And same with when you're marking up TA. As soon as it breaks the trend of what you think the TA is saying, it doesn't exist. So you're looking for, what are the indicators telling you? What is possibly a new pattern telling you? And that's why we just started with the very basics in those handouts in our modulars that you can print off to start to look for them. There are the bearish trends in there. You know, the double top is a great one. The head and shoulders is a great one. You know, because when those happen, they typically play out. But as soon as they break that look, you know, it's over. Like this, if it went to here and started to fall here, it could very easily come back down. Now down in steps, but it didn't. It continued to follow this parallel channel moving up this way. Why? Because we're definitely a little more bullish right now. Why did we have this big pullback? Look at how much freaking profit that is. Our micro bear is now telling, yeah, we're off to the races again. And we know we'll probably just walk our way up. And this is a very old token. Lots of history. So good indication that it'll take these things. When it comes to strategy and trust, that's what we're talking about when we use the indicators and what we're learning here. Little micro wedge, breakout here, another bullish wedge, breakout here. We can call this almost a gross double top on an angle, but you know, double top is typically perfectly flat. But lots of increase height, and then we got into this channel. And you can see all we have done is just bounce around in this channel, come out, the retest, which we're always looking for, and we've changed our direction. We got our indicator here giving us the change of direction. We still have this spread in our micro bull here, which is laying over pretty much exactly what we drew before. And we'll just continue to leave that there. And what we want to see is either a nice up, because we know the further these lines spread, the greater the price action. This is what we want to see, but over here is on the daily. No need to panic. There will be these ups and downs that we already talked about this show that are healthy. Senate, another gaming token. We just marked this up, what, 2 days ago? Here's your retest that we talked about. We're on our way up. Now we might start Earl. We have an exit here on the Bollinger Band. We're starting to come down. We don't have a massive spread up. And it will make sense that we're at the support and resistance level right now. Probably makes sense after, oh yeah, if I draw, it's going to all come back on. 3 touches that we're going to have a little bit of a down, and a little bit of an up, a little bit of a down, and a little bit of an up. So these are longer term plays. Wait for a little bit more down, then we go off. If you don't want to keep watching and looking, and you're just planning to hold it when we can get to a localized high, you don't care about all these up and downs, just go in. You're only going to save a few percent when you're making big percent. But we've already seen how much those little percent matter. But if you're chasing those little percents, even the fractions of them, you are spending more time. And that's where this game will fit your time budget. You can play on the monthlies, the weeklies, the 15 minutes if you have the experience. I wouldn't do that if you have no experience. Great way for me to take your money. But that's kind of how all these wrap together. So this is still doing what we want it to do. And we're trying our end goal from where our entry was. I can't remember because of our drawings are off. But even from right now here today, I'll go under the body of these candles because that's where I'd want to get out because I'd be happy with 60%. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. Let's do that again. You know, how long did it take to get to the bottom? Another 60%. Interesting. But a month and a half. So this is where, yeah, you can throw some money, forget about it, walk away for a bit, go on holiday. Don't go back to work if you have your day job. Hustle your other side project. And don't worry about the red candles after all the green, because in a while you're already out, if you got in here especially. But if you got in here, getting out here and having pullback would make sense. Because it doesn't look like much, but this is going to be massive. 50%. Of course there's pullback. Consolidation. Now we're off. Doing exactly what we want it to do. Looking extremely healthy. We have our retracement. This is a great area to get in. Absolutely. I mean, not right now. Here, zoom in on lower time frames, blah, blah, blah. Hopefully you understand what I mean. Not financial advice, fuck course, golf. Filecoin. IPFS token that we started looking at, and boom, just, I mean, we're going to have to start putting more lines of support and resistance in because we've already started to walk up them. We're here. Same thing again. If you wanted to get in this trade and we continue to watch it, we're shooting for, from back here, that 38-ish%. And again, old token. We're going to fight these areas of consolidation of the past, of support and resistance in the future. Right now, we can see we're definitely fighting here in this rectangle. In fact, we can drop. Oh, tools. Just quick, dirty. First off, let's get the right daily. Support, resistance, support, resistance, resistance, support, resistance, support. Huh. Bunch of ups. That's some decent profit over the last 4 days. It makes sense. We might not hold that line and come back in this area, which would be a nice entry to take the time to walk off. That entry might miss if kind of money gets deposited into the total market cap. When the raging bull happens, we're already seeing how 80, 90, billion affects it. Right? Once we get into the higher trillions and they're dealing with hundreds of billions of dollars that are moving in and out, if you haven't been there to see it, it's ridiculous, and that's where it does. It can get a little crazy in this space, but that's where patience, strategy, and that pays off. Right back at you. Cheers, brother. Jessica Walchild, GM. I am in, speaking of GM, I'm in your DMs. Let's get your indicators set up proper. I want to talk a little bit about, if you have been watching the shows and you are in our Discord and you are seeing my picks from the hunt. Just because I found them on the hunt doesn't mean I'm in that trade. Doesn't mean a few days later that trade is still lining up in the way. Still always DYOR and still always look. The market can change so fast. Don't blindly follow anything. And if I am looking at getting any of those and it's been later, I'm going to reassess those situations, because so much can change in that time frame. But when we went on the hunt, out of all of our token list, those were the ones that were like, hey, this is looking pretty good. And if they follow this path that they're on, over time, they're looking pretty good. And if we can get in and out between these areas, we should be pretty good. But there's even some on there that are micro caps. And you have to understand, and that's why DYOR, and some people are like, I don't find that on my exchange. Maybe it's on a DEX. Maybe it's because it's so small. Fear has a $2.5 million micro cap. Supreme helped point that out. You don't want to go in there, say, with $100,000 to make a trade, because you're going to affect the ecosystem if it only has 2.5 in its total market cap. And that's when we talk about, like, when somebody we talked about news event a while ago when it was some company put $50 million into Bitcoin. And I was like, $50 million is shit to Bitcoin. Big fucking deal. It ain't going to do anything to Bitcoin.
Yeah, set the alarms, really changing the market.
Right? So it's understanding all these principles together. How the money moves, how fast it's moving. What is the market cap, not only of the entire market, but the market of the trading pair you're looking at? How much money is in that ecosystem? How much of that money is being traded? You don't want to enter a small market cap and expect to get out. You find out it's only trading a few $1,000s a day. For every buyer, there needs to be a seller. And for every seller, there needs to be a buyer. And when you're looking at strategies and finance, some of these, you shouldn't be trying to fast trade with your whole bag. That's absurd.
I think the max I put in at a time is about 25%.
Even if you're slow trading, you never go all in until worst case scenario, you have to dollar cost entry because it came to such a good deal. And all the indicators are there. It's down at that bottom. It's off again. You'd be nuts not to buy again. You had conviction here, have conviction here, get a better entry, and you make more profit. But there are different styles of trading. And if you're not an experienced trader, definitely trade slower. And even experienced traders, even myself, I always have slow trades. It'd be foolish not to. Some of these calls we're doing have been high double-digit percentages. I don't want to swing in and out of that. Do I want to swing? Yeah, I find it fun. I love sitting here, fun of doing it. And you can stack those percentages. But that's a hard game and most fail. And that's why I want you to get the skill set. I want you to see what we're looking for and when we do it, and not do it blindly, or not think, hey, because we've had a bunch of success the last 29 shows, I can do this. That's emotion. As soon as you get cocky, you're fucked. The market will take you out and teach you a hell of a lesson. And talk to any experienced trader, and they'll be like, we've all had that humble pie. I promise you that. So that, what that is more about is to, if you're never playing with emotion, you're playing with money you can't lose, as cliche it is. So whatever that budget is, and I've been wanting to get down to a breakdown of how I would spend different budgets, and that's my focus over this weekend for next, is if you have $1,000 and you don't have a lot of time, you're doing really slow trades. And you're spending $500 at a time, $250 at a time. You know, if you have 5,000, you're going to have some long holds and some shorter swings. You know, different parts of those budgets, if you want to be smart and stack your capital, come with different strategies. And we haven't talked about that a lot yet. And I haven't seen that a lot yet in our Discord, but it is in our modules. We do talk about it there. And it's a massive part of being successful in this game.
This is so important to just log all of that theory though first.
Right.
So if you go in not knowing what you're talking about, not knowing where to DYOR, you know, you're going to get eaten. I'm too scared. I'm too chicken to do that yet. Self-admitted.
Right. Or too cocky is the other side of that coin, which can lead to trouble. You're at least missing opportunity. They could be missing capital on the other side, you know? Right. And so it's always, you know, breathe, have fun, slow down the trades, make sure you're double checking, you're keeping track of your journal, you're learning from your wins, and you're learning from your failures. Because I'll admit, I fucked up totally last night. I didn't
Tell me about it.
Didn't make a sheep decision, but I made a mistake, and I'm going to share my mistakes when I make them. I left a limit buy-in. I was trading in and a quick trade in, a quick trade out of Cello. I mentioned it in the Discord, and I was in and out fast, so I didn't put the exit. I was busy doing some stuff for this. But I even said, you know, I'm looking for 1.5%, 2%. I was out at 1.4. Done. I was happy. Made my percentage for the day. I put another limit buy to dollar cost entry just in case it did fall when I wasn't watching, which is a strategy. Normally, when I'm done getting in and out on a fast trade, I would cancel those because I'm looking at the market differently on a fast trade than I am on a longer or slower. So I didn't really want to be in the trade again. And so you can see where this is going. In my sleep, the trade hit. When I woke up and I looked at my wallet, I was like, well, this is weird. It's not what I went in bed with. And then when I did the research, I found out, now, luckily in this case, did the same thing. Got out with a really small percent. It worked out. But it wanted me to share. I wanted to share that because we all still make mistakes. And that could have went really poorly in the other direction when you're trading fast. And that could have been at the top of the curve and coming down. And that limit entry may have caught on the way down as it was just shitting the bed. So I would have just lost some amount and a decent percentage because of that. That wasn't a sheep decision. It wasn't a chicken little decision. It was a stupid thing because I was rushed. I was trying to do too many things at once. None of us are perfect. So I caught it. I acknowledge it. I wanted to share it. We're all going to make some. But if you are doing those kind of things before you shut down, and should always be closed out of your wallets and all those kind of things, make sure you don't have anything open that you don't want to.
I think the two accidents, the one I had last week and yours, ended up turning out well. But I mean, that's temporary. That stuff is not going to last too much longer because we're going to hit something. I'm going to feel cocky with whatever reason. Tequila will probably be in play. I remember I was talking to you once and I you were not having a great day. And I was like, "You going to trade today?" And you were like, Like this? I can't trade like this. Smart.
100%.
That's self-aware. I appreciate your
Yeah,
self-awareness.
100%. That's what it takes. But also, speaking on that note, where we always like to get into near the end of the show, it's been pretty steady. It's been 11-11. We have been doing a little bit of slower trading. There's only been a fast couple. So that's been nice. And I can't wait till these numbers start to get to skew a bit and we're going after each other.
Appreciate your
Healthy
positivity.
healthy competition is always good.
I think when if I get a few percentages higher than you, I think that you're going to feel a certain way, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, for sure.
Because the other night, I think I was like, I'm at 6%, and you were like, I'm at 6.7.
But you made some banging calls. Even when I was doing the hunt for entries, I was giving you props because I know you didn't get a chance to be there. Because you did. You sent me, hey, this is what I'm looking at. What do you think? And I just saved it for when I got to it, knowing it was going to be alphabetical. And I was like, banging job, like nailed it.
I just made you some money.
So if you are in our Discord, you got a massive list of what I found on the hunt. I'm not putting it out there. It says to be in our Discord, you did have to sign and understand to get in that it is not financial advice, the legal waivers, because if you bet your house and you do something stupid, you can't come after our team. So I'm not going to be putting those on Twitter and on YouTube. That is one of the perks of being in our Discord. But we will focus on some of the coins that we have been obviously already that we've got into. I found something old and juicy that I think is ready. It's a great token. It's been around for a long time. It looks like, speaking of cup and handles, that it's about to be in that perfect formation, and we're at the start of the curve. So I'm excited to get that on this list and a couple others that'll be new just for the YouTube and the X stream, Twitter stream. I don't know what to call that actually.
Oh, you are going to do some for the rest of everybody, and then
I think as we find them, yeah, we're not going to promise when they happen, right? You can't force a trade.
Sure.
But I don't want to feel left out, and we're going to follow the ones we are already in. And if somebody has a question in our Discord or on the show and we find one and it works out, or if it doesn't, let's continue to follow it. So we have a top 3 that'll hit coming. Other than that, again, we did it under an hour. Remember, the money flow cycle is always your number 1. Mm-hmm. Number 2 should be your daily fix, 7 p.m. PST. The Crypto Katie, I cannot thank you enough for making me look good. Do you have anything else to say?
Oh, man, no, I don't. I'm so sorry. I was not... I got such a toddler teenager move. I got a tattoo today. So I was off the charts all day today. Didn't even touch grass. I drove there. So I have nothing to add, but I'm going to take a look at some charts tonight and see if I can find anything fun to throw some money into.
A tattoo?
A tattoo?
Of
right
what?
Here. It's a little airplane. It has significance, blah, blah, blah.
And
I'm in my 40s. I'm going through a midlife something, I'm sure.
There we are. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Show number 30. Let's do it.
That's amazing. Bye, everybody.